Hi and welcome. Thanks for being here. And what I want to talk to you about while you are watching me paint in Command is the name of the painting. I just wanted to go over my palette with you. I used to use a lot of different paints. I would purchase the craft paints so that I didn't have to mix my paints. And I found that that was easy for doing tutorials because then people could go out and buy those paints. They didn't have to worry about mixing paints. However, I have kind of gotten away from that because I think it's important to be able to mix your paints. Plus, I love the quality of the Golden brand paints. So I do a weekly lesson over at Kogut Studio Uncut, and I have developed this palette that I use every single week so that the members of Kogut Studio Uncut, they have learned how to mix their paints. They don't have to run out and buy, every single color, because before, when I was using the craft paints, I would use different colors all the time, so they would always have to order these colors, and I just thought that was getting too much for them. And really, with the palette that I have chosen, you can make any color you wish anyways. So this is just way more practical. So let's get started. So I buy the Golden paints, and I purchase them from dickblick.com, and I'm going to give you the list of the colors that I use. I use titanium white, black, Payne's gray, raw sienna, burnt sienna, raw umber, burnt umber, cerulean blue chromium, Titan buff, Hansa yellow, pyrrole red, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, and teal. Now, the colors that I use for the skin tone, I take a mixture of the Hansa yellow, pyrrole red, and then I mix that with Titan buff. And using, different degrees of those three colors will depend on if you want more pinky, more of a peachy color, depending on how you mix those. But those three give me my skin tone. Then if I want to darken that a bit, maybe around the eyes or something, I can throw in some raw sienna, or I'm sorry, not raw sienna, but burnt sienna, or the burnt umber. Also for shadowing, I like to mix into the skin tone some of that teal or the cerulean blue to give it more of a blue color for the shadows. Also, I like to use Payne's gray over black whenever possible, unless I want something really just completely black, like the her eyes. I might use black, but as far as shading, I would use the Payne's gray because it's a little bit more of a blue tone rather than just that black, and the black can make your colors muddy. So Payne's gray is awesome to use for shadowing. For the wings, I usually start with, I think on this one in particular, I started with Titan buff, and then I go over it again with the titanium white. Titan buff is just creamier. It's got a little bit of a yellow hue to it, but it's more of a cream than a white. And those two work well together. What I like about using Titan buff for making highlights is that it's not stark white. It doesn't make everything bright. It kind of tones things down just a notch. For using this titanium white is great towards the end of the painting to just do the highlights, maybe on the tip of the nose, the chin, the forehead, the cheekbones. And for the wings, I usually end up using the white for the last layer. What else? But really, this list of colors, I have painted angels with it. I have painted, you can paint folk art. You can muddy those colors up by using the Payne's Gray or the black. So this is all you really need to make any color you want. You can mix the Hansa yellow. I love it because it's a real pure yellow. And you can mix that with your cerulean blue in order to get your greens, and you can add in the raw sienna or burnt sienna to tone down the green. So really, this palette is all you need for any style of art that you do. The phthalo blue, I love that. I use that a lot in this painting because it's a real dark blue, and I used it on the background to really make this angel pop. Let's see, what else can I tell you about these colors? I use the alizarin crimson a lot with the Pyro red to get the lip color. So mixing that with like Titan buff, or you can even throw in some Hansa yellow so that it's not so red if you want a little more peachy color for the lips. But play around with these colors. I'm telling you, if you buy that list of colors, you really, practice makes perfect, and you will find that you don't need any other paint colors. You can get whatever you need by just playing around and mixing these colors. And sometimes it's fun, just get a blank canvas and just play with these colors and mix the colors, and then maybe take notes of what you mixed to get this color, or make yourself a little palette. I guess you wouldn't want to do that on canvas, but you could take a palette sheet and then like mix colors and then write how you mixed them, so that until you get used to it, because I have mixed colors and then the next painting I do, oh god, I can't remember what I mixed to get that shade or whatever. So that might be helpful to just take some time and play around with the colors, mix them, take notes, and get used to these colors, because like I said, you'll save a ton of money by just ordering these and continuing to work with these and getting to know these colors so well that you'll be delighted. I am, and like I said, I have been painting with just this color palette now for quite a while, and you would never know that I'm using the same color palette when you look at my angels, because they look so different from one another, but it's just because I'm learning how to mix them and create new colors with them. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. Oh, and yeah, on the hair, now that I'm watching this video as I record this, the hair, what I use for the hair, I start out with the burnt umber to get that really dark brown, and then I go back over with mixtures of burnt sienna and raw sienna. And then to get the highlights in the hair, I will take the burnt sienna and mix it with Titan buff, or throw in a little Hansa yellow just to get it a little bit more yellow, and do the highlights in the hair. So, and then on the dress, I used teal, I used the Hansa yellow. Actually, I think instead of Hansa yellow, it was raw sienna mixed with the Titan buff to get it just a nice creamy light yellow. And the dark blue on that dress is that phthalo blue. And just just kept mixing those colors. And towards the end, you're going to see that I used some Winsor Newton inks. Those are so fun. Let me just tell you real quick. What I love about those Winsor Newton inks is that the color is super rich and super pure. So when you put it on, see, I'm using them right there. Okay, watch as I put those on. They're so transparent that it changes the color of the paint underneath, but you can still see everything that was painted. And it just adds a real fun element to the painting. And then I took that ink and I put some of that red in her hair just to kind of tie it all together. And then I used it in the background too, so that her dress tied into the background. And then what I did also is I took some teal paint and mixed it, really watered it down. And you can see on the left side of her dress where I put that on so that's watered down and you can still see the floral pattern underneath. So anyways, the inks, that was something new for me. I've never done that on one of my angel paintings. So I love that added layer of color, but you know, like I said, still being able to see the pattern underneath. I was going to antique this painting, but I just thought the colors were so rich. I really decided just to leave it like it is because I didn't want to dull down what the colors that I do have there. But I thought about antiquing it and doing the crackle and, you know, the staining and all that, but you know, she didn't require it. Certain paintings, you know, you got to know when to quit. Sometimes that can be a challenge. What I'm doing here is, this is just a little artist hack, is to see if you have the face balanced. You take that tracing paper and you can trace half of the face, then flip that over and see if your eyes are lining up, if you know, maybe one side of the face is too thick. And that's when I decided that on the neck, her neck was too narrow on one side, so I ended up painting that a little bit wider. And then I decided to add this ponytail over to the side because I had her shoulder on that side up too high. So instead of painting more feathers for her wings, I decided just to add that side ponytail coming down. And that's it. Thanks for being here.